Hi guys, welcome back to Vitale Style. Today I am doing a review and demo on the new Covergirl Plus Olay Facelift Effect Foundation and Concealer. This is a recent one I picked up. This is a recent foundation and concealer I picked up and I showed you guys in my Walgreens haul. Sorry, it's so hot in here. I'm like, ugh, in my Walgreens haul, and I had some of you ask for a review. So that's what I'm bringing you today. I hope that you find this helpful. I know that I wouldn't say I'm a little all over the place with my verdict on the foundation. Once I go and talk about it, I think you'll understand. I always feel the need to over explain myself. But anyway, let me just take you over through the demo really quickly and then we'll chit chat. Now, as always, I always moisturize my face about 10 minutes before I'm going to put on any makeup because I feel like it needs just a little bit of time for the moisturizers to really sink into the skin. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go in with my primer, and I have really enjoyed using this under this foundation, and this is just a MAC Prep and Prime Skin Base. I'm going to pop some of that onto the skin. And I've tried this foundation with quite a few primers, and I feel like it works really well for me with pretty much all of them. The only one I wouldn't use with it is that Laura Mercier Radiant Bronze Primer. Not the Radiant Regular, but the Radiant Bronze, just because the bronze kind of really peeks through the foundation. So I'm just going to blend this really well with my fingers. And now I'm going to go in with my Armani corrector. And the reason why I'm using my Armani corrector is because I always do with any foundation. So really, whenever I'm testing out a new foundation, I never like to test it out alone with no primer, because I just wouldn't wear foundation with no primer, and I wouldn't wear it without setting it, and I wouldn't wear it without, I don't wear any concealer now without my Armani corrector under it. So I always do everything I normally do because I know that that works really well for me, and then just see how that foundation works with that, with my usual steps. So I just like to pat that into the skin. And now I'm going in with the foundation, and this is the color medium. It looks kind of moussey, very similar to the Revlon Color Stay Whipped. I'm just going to take that onto the skin. Now, I have tried this with a beauty blender, but I have to be honest and tell you that I like using my flat top kabuki much more with this over my beauty blender. So just kind of distributing that. I'm just using whatever's on that little cap. Just spreading that all over. And then using my Sigma flat top kabuki, I'm going to just blend this into the skin. And then I just kind of spread it, and then I just kind of pat. Okay, that looks pretty good. And you can still see my skin under it. You can still see the redness on my nose, a little bit of redness on my cheeks. So it's definitely something you can build up, but for some reason, even though it has really good coverage, you can still see your skin peeking through it, which I like. So now that I have that done, we are going to go into the concealer, and this is the CoverGirl Deep Puffer Eye Concealer. This is what it looks like. I have it in the color light medium. It comes with this little, I can't work this in with the tip. I can't do that. So I just take some on my finger, dab it underneath my eyes. Okie doke. And you really have to put as much or as little as you want on. It's not super heavy coverage, so it's not like a little goes a long way like the MAC Pro Longwear. And then I take the Sigma Tapered Kabuki F86, and I'm going to just pat that into place. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm just going to set my under eyes with my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, and then I'm going to come back and chit chat. So I have done the rest of my makeup, and I have set my foundation I set my concealer using the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I have set the whole foundation using my Laura Mercier Translucent Powder, and like I always do with anything, I always spray some kind of finishing spray, and this is the Urban Decay Chill Setting Spray. makeup setting spray. So, and the reason I wanted to mention that is because that's just the step I take with pretty much every single foundation I use, because those are, I always believe that setting with a powder makes the longevity much better, you know, makes it stay on a lot longer, and setting it with any kind of finishing spray takes away any powder look from putting on the powder. So, the pros and cons. The pros, I think, is that this is a really nice foundation if, and this is where one of the cons comes in, if you can find your shade and undertone. From my local Walgreens, there were only 4 shades available, and that's pretty ridiculous in my opinion. Now, there could be more shades other places, but from what I saw, there was only 4 shades available. Another con is that it is $17, which is borderline outrageous for a drugstore foundation. So when I saw the price, I was expecting this to be pretty magical. And I wouldn't say it's magical. The best way I would describe this foundation, it is like the Revlon Color Stay Whipped for dry skin. Because as we all know, the Revlon Color Stay Whipped is geared towards, it's gonna matte finish, so it's geared towards sort of more oily skin. Well, this one, the finish is not matte, it's sort of like a somewhat of a luminous finish, so it's really good for dry skin. But the problem is it looks really noticeable if you don't have the right shade or undertone. For me, I picked up the color medium because it was the darkest color available at Walgreens in the little display, and this is not dark enough for me. It's a little bit light. I had to blend it in really well and bronze up the skin, but if you come up close, you can see that it's almost too pink for me. So while I love the finish and I love the longevity of it, because I can get this to stay on for a good 8 hours, I don't like that it looks like I have makeup on, if that makes any sense. So if you can find your correct shade and your correct tone, I think this is a foundation you really would like if you have dry skin. If you have oily skin or combination oily skin, I don't think you would like this, because I've had it on for about 25 minutes. I did film this makeup tutorial on this look, so this will be coming up tomorrow, and I'm in this room which is about 75 degrees, and as you can see, and I have set this with powder, I have set this with my chill setting spray, and if I come close you can sort of see where I'm a little bit shiny, and you can see that the foundation settled into my fine lines on my forehead. So this is definitely not something you'd enjoy if you have oily skin, but I think for dry skin it's actually pretty nice. So I do love the finish of this, and by what I mean is I like that it's a little luminous. I like that you can still see my redness of my skin peeking through, which means it somewhat gives you great coverage but still makes it look like your skin's peeking through, which I really like. And if this was the right tone and the right shade, it would be perfect for me. I would absolutely love this. But the con is that it's expensive, there's not enough color selections, and the tones seem to be all beigey pink, which I'm not. So I'm more of like a yellowish olive undertone. So this unfortunately is not the right tone for me, but I can make it work. Is it worth the price? Absolutely not. I don't think it's worth $17.99 in the slightest. So if you're dying to get your hands on it and you have dry skin and you have a pink undertone and you are somewhat fair, then I'd say you would enjoy it and go give it a try. But if you are my skin tone or darker, you won't find the right shade, and you most certainly won't find the right tone. So the choice is up to you. Those are just my feelings. For the concealer, this is the Covergirl, obviously. This is called the Depuffer Eye Concealer. I am not a fan of this. There's a hair on my face. I am not a fan of this. I am not a fan of this because I feel like it's not enough coverage. There's hardly any coverage at all, and it's way, way, way too like slick feeling. It kind of like rubs off from under my eyes, and I don't necessarily have oily under eyes at all. I have pretty normal under eyes. In the winter time they're really dry, but around this time of year they're pretty normal. They're not oily, they're not dry. So if you have really dry under eyes, then you might actually enjoy this. But for me, it didn't give me enough coverage, and it certainly didn't give me it just didn't, I mean, I have to set it, but I know from using it before that it's not going to stay on for very long. The two combined, again, I can get a good 6 to 8 hour wear out of it if I'm not in the sun, if I'm not outside in the heat running around, because it'll start to kind of melt off the face. If I'm in normal sort of office home environment, then I can get a good 6 to 8 hour wear out of it. But for $13.99 and for $17.99, there are so many better things out there in the drugstore. This foundation, for example, is 10 times better, and this is the Revlon Age Defying Firming Makeup. I would choose this over this one any day, and I would skip on this completely. So really, the choice is up to you. If you have really dry under eyes and you're fair skin, then I said you really would enjoy that concealer if you're not looking for a ton of coverage. If you are someone who has dry skin and is fair skinned and is like a pink undertone, then you'd enjoy the foundation. But for me, it's something that I could definitely have skipped, and I'm not going to return it because I've used it, but and I'm going to try and make it work with it by mixing it with different things, but it's not something that's sort of crazy fun and awesome, and it's just, to me, it really isn't that great. So I do like the foundation. Like, I love the finish, and I love the luminosity of it, and I love that I can still see my skin through it even though it has really good coverage. It kills me that they don't make different, like, how not everybody has a pink undertone. So come on, Covergirl, give a girl a break and make some, like, I don't know, different tones of foundations. I don't know how else to say it, because no matter how good a foundation looks, no matter how sort of natural it looks on your skin, if it's not the right tone, you can definitely see you're wearing makeup. So that's kind of why it's a bummer for me, because I do like the finish, I do like the longevity, I do like how it feels, but it's just too pink and it's too light, and I have the darkest color. So that is my quick little review. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know down below if you have purchased this and kind of your thoughts on it. Maybe your thoughts were different than mine, and I totally understand that. So I would love to hear some of your opinions if you are willing to share. So leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!